Hey guys, it's Melony, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you my version of shepherd's pie. Now, traditional shepherd's pie is actually made with ground lamb. I'm using ground beef, so this is not a traditional shepherd's pie, but this is my version. So how we're going to start out is we're going to brown 1.5 pounds of ground beef. Anywhere between 1 pound and 2 pounds is probably good. I do have a slightly larger family, so I usually will cook more than 1 pound. After you cook the ground beef, you're going to just drain it, and I'm going to leave this sitting in the sink just while I put some other things together. So now we're going to work on the gravy that is going to basically go with the meat and the vegetables. I have 6 tablespoons of butter in the same pan that I cooked the beef in. I'm going to get that melted, and to that I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of flour. You always want to have equal parts flour and fat. Whisk all of that in until the butter is completely melted and it's all combined, and then you're going to let this cook just until the flour is cooked. I probably let this cook for 30 to 45 seconds. It doesn't take a very long time. You want to make sure that you don't overcook it, but yeah, I mean, you'll get the hang of it. It's really easy. It can be a little bit intimidating at first, but it's not hard at all. Then I'm going to add some beef bouillon base. I would say I probably added anywhere between 2 to 3 teaspoons of this. Don't go too heavy on this because it is a really strong flavor. It's very salty, but it adds really nice depth of flavor to your dishes versus just using something like beef stock. I'm going to go ahead and add 3 cups of chicken stock to this. Now, you just need a liquid of some sort. If you wanted to use beef stock, you could, or vegetable stock. Even if you wanted to use water, that's fine too. But I prefer to use a stock in my gravy recipes because I think that it gives it a nicer flavor. I'm going to let this cook for probably 2 to 3 minutes. It doesn't take a real long time for the flour to start thickening up, and once this gravy has kind of thickened, you don't want it to be really super thick because remember that this is going to go into the oven. I'm going to go ahead and add 3 cups of frozen mixed vegetables. Again, here you could use canned mixed vegetables if you would like. You can use any combination of vegetables that you want to put in this, but this is what I use. I prefer these because I think they hold up better when they're going through the cooking process. They don't get all mushy. And I had a little bit of extra corn that I decided to throw in there. I'm going to get all of this stirred together, and then once this is all stirred, I'm going to add back in the cooked ground beef. At this point, you could turn off the heat if you wanted to. You could let it simmer for a few minutes if you'd like. It really doesn't matter because all of this is going to go into the oven and it's going to get really nice and hot when it's in your oven. At this point, you just want to make sure that everything is well combined. And of course, you always want to taste and make sure that the seasonings are spot on. And with this one, it was really good. So I had an ordeal with the potatoes. This is basically just mashed potatoes. I will say that this is Ree Drummond's mashed potato recipe, the Pioneer Woman. This has basically 5 pounds of potatoes and 8 ounces of cream cheese, and I think 1 stick of butter. I'm also going to add some milk here in a second just to give it a little bit more creaminess, but I wasn't feeling very well on the day that I made this. I was able to get the potatoes peeled and chopped and cooked, but then I really took a turn for the worst and I was not feeling very well. So I put them in this bowl, put a lid on it, and by the time I got back to them and was ready to mash them, they were completely cold. So they didn't mash up quite as well as I would have liked. If you can do this while they're still piping hot, you're going to get a really creamy mashed potato. I'm going to use this pan. It's probably about the size of a 13 by 9, and I'm going to spray it just to make sure that everything comes out really easy. And then I'm going to put the meat and vegetable mixture on the bottom. I will say that I'm really happy with how the gravy turned out in this one. It wasn't too watery. It seemed like the perfect amount. You don't want it to be like really dry before it goes into the oven, but you definitely don't want it to be, soup either. So I think that these measurements worked out really well for this. Then I'm going to layer the mashed potatoes up on top of here. And then after the mashed potatoes are on, I'm going to spread them out. I threw this in my oven topped with foil for, it was 30 minutes topped with foil at 350 degrees. And then I took the foil off. In the last 15 minutes that I cooked this, it was uncovered, and that made it a really nice golden topping on the top. So this is what it looked like when it came out of the oven. I did sprinkle a little bit of paprika over the top before I put it in the oven, and it was absolutely delicious. I hope you guys enjoy.